Hi, it's Jason from the Dental Equipment Repair channel. Just to let you know, I'm looking a little bit different today because it's my day off. It's Saturday, and one of the things that happened today was at home, and my air conditioner is not blowing out heat. And just so you know, I'm not always running around fixing other people's stuff. I'm actually a homeowner, and I'm just a family man as well, and my stuff breaks too. And it just seemed like maybe an opportunity to kind of walk through troubleshooting some of my own stuff, just to show you the process of identifying and resolving issues with home equipment. Now, I'm definitely not an air conditioning technician, but this seems like something that would be useful in terms of identifying a problem with a air conditioner. I've got a few ideas of what it could be, but I'm just going to walk through it with you guys, and that way you'll have a maybe just a little bit extra view into a different aspect of equipment repair, because really it's all equipment, it's all troubleshooting, figuring out what the problem is, and also fixing the problem. So let's see what we have, and you might end up with a little bit of information that can help you at home if your air conditioner doesn't work, or in a situation where maybe having a little bit of extra troubleshooting advice can help you out. So let's take a look at the issue that we have. So this is my air conditioning unit, and inside the house the air conditioner has been running most of the day, and it has not been getting any cooler. The fan is running out here, but one thing I've noticed is that it's kind of cold air coming off of this. Now this fan should be blowing out hot air, and because it's not, that tells me that it's not carrying the heat out of the house. The way, in very general terms, the way an air conditioner works is it takes the hot air from inside the house, it exchanges it into a coil with Freon, and that Freon then carries that hot that heat outside to a coil where it exchanges it, and it blows the heat outside. So in essence, an air conditioner, from my understanding, doesn't add cool, it removes heat. And so this is what it looks like out here. It's basically running, it's not stopping, and this is one side of the issue. The other side of the issue is that we have the control here. It is on cool, and it is 78 degrees. The temperature has not decreased, and the unit has not turned off at all. So what we're going to do first is we're going to go ahead and turn off the system, all right, and let that turn off. The next step we're going to take is we are going to go ahead and turn off the air conditioner circuit breaker. Alright, so on your air conditioner, you've got a few different sides to it. There's these vents all the way around, and then what you're going to have is you're going to have a panel. Alright, it's going to have a few screws on it. Typically it has one here, one here, one here, and one here. And so we've got this 6-in-1 screwdriver. I've done another video on that, and the 6-in-1 screwdriver, essentially one of the sides is the 5/16, and so what we're gonna do is go ahead and get that all on there. So now that 5/16 screwdriver is pretty nice because a lot of appliances will actually interface with that. So that goes on there pretty nicely. We'll go ahead and spin him off like that. And what I'm expecting is I'm gonna be checking out an item called a capacitor. Now a capacitor helps the motor to run, and on the air conditioner we've got two motors. Basically we got a compressor, and then we have a fan, and or the condenser and the fan. And what we can find is that sometimes sometimes the capacitor will not be working, and that will cause the condenser to not run. So, and that condenser I think, or the compressor, one of the two, is what's responsible for moving that freon around. And so because that freon's not moving, that will be a pretty common reason for these air conditioners not to work. At least it's something you should be checking. Now, we also turned off the breaker down below, but out here we have a service disconnect. So we're gonna go ahead and take the service disconnect here, open this up, and in here, there's an on and off. I'm gonna go ahead and pull that. And now, because that AC, that fan was running, I'm pretty sure that that's gonna be, we're not looking at an issue with the fuses. All right, first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna check to make sure that the power's off. I'm going to do this by setting my meter to volts AC. All right, and essentially we're gonna be checking from the ground, which is this little right in here, ground, to L1, and we'll get a reading here. All right, so we got 0.9 volts between basically ground and L2 there, and then we've also got 1 volt. All right, now on the top of this this capacitor, we've got one here that says fan, that's the blue wire, one that says Herm, and then one that says, I think it says COM. All right, so basically the yellow and the yellow and orange wire go into common, the blue's going to fan, and then the red is going to Herm. Well, we're gonna check the capacitor first, because that's usually what I think it is. Now, I've already changed this capacitor recently, but in order to check a capacitor, you need to know what reading you're looking for. And so one of the ways we're gonna do that is by rotating the capacitor around in place, maybe. There we go, turn it. And on one side of the capacitor, what's gonna happen is you're gonna end up with a sticker, and that sticker is gonna tell you what you're looking for. All right, okay, so right here we've got the capacitor says it's gonna say something like, right here it's gonna say 50 plus 5 MFD, okay? 50 and 5 microfarads, okay? Which means you need to have what's called a capacitor checker, and you're looking for one side of the capacitor to be 50 microfarads and the other side to be 5 microfarads. So what we'll do is I'm gonna set this up in a way where you can see what the meter reading is, and I'll just tell you what I'm checking here. Now, first, the way that we check this is we go up here to this little indicator right here where the line's up to. That's called a capacitance, okay? And there's like a vertical bar, a curved bar, and it'll say NF, okay? And that's nanofarads. So farads is a unit of measurement. All right, so to make this measurement, what I'm gonna need to do is actually disconnect the leads. So I'll disconnect. First we'll check. Now the fan is running, so I'm not so much worried about that one, but I'm going to disconnect the red lead, okay? And I'm going to just remember where it was hooked up. And then I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to hook the meter between, all right, I don't know quite how I'm going to do this, but, all right, so you might have to just take my word for some of this, because I don't know if this is going to quite work, this setup. All right, I might just have to read it, you know, as so the meter's right there. You can kind of keep me honest here. All right, so that says 0 nanofarads. Now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take and I'm gonna connect the meter between these two leads. And essentially what I'm expecting is it to either be 50 or 5 microfarads. It's gonna say 50 or 5. Not quite sure on this one. I'm not a HVAC guy, but I do know that one of these sets should be 50 and the other should be 5. Okay. All right. And right there, we've got 9 microfarads between the common and the Herm. Okay, 9 microfarads, which is definitely not 50, and it's definitely not 5 either. All right, so let me just go ahead and pull it off. I'm going to reset it back to 0, and I'm going to hit it again. And I think this is going to be the issue. All right, so now we're going to go check it again. And when I make contact, okay, that number is gonna move. All right, it's gonna indicate that I'm on there. All right, so now we got 9.37. Okay, now that is nowhere near, okay, 50 or 5. So let's go ahead and put that red wire back on. And I'm just going to put that back on that terminal there, okay? And I'm omitting some serious safety things here. Obviously, like when you're checking a capacitor, you should kind of, you know, with everything disconnected like it is, you should kind of touch all the terminals together to make sure that you don't have like a charge that's going to bite you. But I don't really experience that much, so I don't really do it that much, but okay. Now, here, let's go between C and fan. Now, what I'm expecting to see here is I'm expecting to see 5. So, what I think has probably happened is we've lost the side that's responsible for the compressor, and that the fan side, because the fan's turning, the fan side's probably good. So let's see if this is 5. All right, so I'm just going to touch those two. Go down there. Good. Let's see what we got. Okay, 4.92. All right. So that's on the fan. So the fan is good. So this capacitor, all right, based on what we're expecting to see. Okay. All right, this capacitor on the fan side is 4.92, and then let's just double check because I want to make sure that we're seeing the same thing, because this is actually going to be really good. Okay, because I'm about to show you something that's really going to blow your mind. All right, so now 0. I'm going to go and touch this. There and there and there. Okay. And now, where are we at? We're at 9.35. And what should that be? All right, that should be 50. Okay, so this is bad. This capacitor is bad. This is making my air conditioner not work. And this part is really not that expensive. It's like a $10 part. So, I'm gonna just show you. Here we are. Now, I'm not gonna do any fancy editing here because I literally wanna show you in real time, okay, what this is going to take for me to fix this. All right, it is essentially identified that that's bad. Here we are. All right, I'm going to walk. And granted, I've had this way for probably 2 years. This has been sitting here waiting for this moment. All right, I'm gonna come right over here to my furnace. Okay, this is my furnace. We're definitely not living too high on the hog here, but we come right over here and sitting right on my furnace. All right, sitting right on my furnace. All right, is this guy. All right. There we go. There's a capacitor. Everyone that's got an air conditioner, you should know what your capacitor is, and you should have a spare one sitting right there. so that when the day comes that you don't have your air conditioner working right, you're going to be able to take this puppy out and you're going to be able to pop it. So I'm about to show you just how quickly this is going to be resolved. Okay, all the power is still off. I'm going to go ahead and figure out how to set this up right here. This is actually cameraing this is the hardest part. All right, so I'm just gonna set this up, I think right here. How am I gonna do this? I'm rookie cameraman in here. Okay, so let's see. All right, there we go. Boom. Now you're gonna get a little bit of a bird's eye view of what I'm doing, okay? So let's go ahead and take my 6-in-1. We're gonna get, now this one I might actually need to have a screwdriver here. All I'm gonna do is pop that guy off of there a little bit. That's gonna loosen him. Okay. And then this guy is gonna slide. And I don't know if it's gonna come all the way out or not. Probably not. I need to take that screw all the way out. And this is something that you can probably do with very basic skills. So, all right, so this is how it was, right? And this is what I was referring to. This is our common, right? And the way you can tell it's a common is the one with 2 wires hooked to it. Then you got Herm, which is the 50, right? That's the one that's 10. And then fan. And again, for the 3rd time, I'm not an HVAC guy, but I'm fixing my air conditioner, right? So that's, I think, the point of this video is that you don't really have to be an HVAC guy to be comfortable in your own house. Because when this fails on a Saturday afternoon at probably, what is it, 3 or 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock in the afternoon, you don't want to be calling an AC guy, right? But this thing's bad and you want to fix it. So here's the new one, okay? Now, one thing I am looking at is I bought, this had happened before and I got these, and maybe there could be a quality issue. I mean, what am I looking at here, right? Maybe the ones that I got from Titan Pro, maybe they're not that great. I don't know, whatever. I don't even really care. Lasted a couple years. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna move these across one at a time. So the common, I'm gonna move it over to there. So C, and then I'm gonna move that one over. And actually those feel a little bit loose. I'm gonna get a pair of pliers real quick. All right, I had to get the pliers. Okay, these spade connectors, what I'm about to do here, okay? Spade connector is what this connector is, okay? Maybe something else, call something else, but it's a spade. There's a little gripping mechanism in there, okay? And that gripping mechanism has those 2 little things curled around. Well, one of the things that I've found sometimes is that when those get loose, right, they're just real sloppy, like they're on and off real easy. What you do is you take your pliers, okay, here, and you just smash them down just a little bit, all right? And that's gonna allow for your contact to be just better than it, you know, it's gonna hold everything nice and tight. And I'm gonna notice there's gonna be some resistance now as I shove those on, and they're gonna be on there way better. So let's go ahead and put those on common. I'm gonna just smoosh those down a little bit. I'll tell you, my wife is gonna be so happy because about 15-20 minutes ago, she came and she was like, Jason, did you see that the house is hot? AC is running, it's not getting cooler. So guys, if your wife comes to you and she is saying that your house is hot, it's not getting cooler, here's the way. Ladies, maybe you don't have a husband around, or this is something you need to fix yourself. This is something that you might be able to do. I don't know. There's a disclaimer though, I think this is the front of the video. It says, I'm not responsible if you try this and something goes wrong. However, I wouldn't be showing you this if I really felt that there was a high degree of failure here. And this is a technical channel, so I'm here to try to help you do things, save money. Obviously, if you're not qualified, boom, call your AC guy. He can come do this. He's gonna do just what I'm doing right now. So now we've got the new capacitor installed. Oh, maybe before I do that, let me just show you what I was expecting to see. So the Herm, right? Let's just double check this, okay? So the Herm and so I'm just gonna go ahead and I'm gonna move this guy over here. Let's do this. Just want to give you kind of the full process here, okay? I'm gonna go from this contact, okay, to this contact. All right, 49.9, dude, that's what I'm expecting to see. All right, and what I was seeing here, okay, just to completely show you, all right, is I was seeing 9.39, okay? So, and then of course for the common to fan, we were right on at 4.92, almost 5. And again, on capacitors, you're reading right here. This tells you the answer, plus or minus 5%, okay? And this is, you know, what you're looking for. Dude, this is so easy. All right, so now we'll put this all back together. I am fully expecting this is gonna work. So I'm gonna go ahead and get this guy all battened back in. Now, that screw fell down here when I was done. So weird. This thing, these capacitors, this is like the second time it's failed since we've lived here, like 6 years. All right, and I don't know what that was about. Okay. All right. This is actually the second time this capacitor has failed. Oh my gosh. Okay. This is the second time this capacitor has failed in about 5 or 6 years of living here. 6 years. So, needless to say, maybe I need to have I don't know, maybe I need to have a new AC, right? Maybe the old high efficiency Mamma Jamma. Oh my goodness. All right. I do this stuff every day. All right. So fair notice, fair warning, if I'm struggling, you might struggle too. All right. So let's get that guy right in there. Come on, baby. You got to talk to it nice too. I was wondering what kind of YouTube video I was going to do for today. Because I know what's that about? All right, here we go. We'll go ahead and put this guy back in. This thing is like kicking my butt way more than I thought it would be, but that's okay. All right, now it's going. This little band just holds everything where it should be. Now, okay, so that guy's in, all those wires are nice and tight. Got our bad capacitor here. What else? A little bit dusty and dirty and cobwebby. That's how all this stuff goes. All right, not a bad time to kind of get things cleaned out a little bit. All right. As I'm sitting here too, this is one of the things that I like, is that older equipment will show you how to kind of look at some of the schematics here. Gives you some safety steps here. Definitely advise you follow that. And gosh, where are we? Outdoor fan motor, compressor. You know, we got fan, common, and Herm, okay? And that's a dual capacitor, okay? And there you go. So because we lost the hermetic, the compressor wasn't working, all right? So even though the compressor contacts were closing, it was not allowing it to work. So that part right there is the one that I just replaced. And these schematics are kind of they're your little way to understand. Because, you know, if you can get good at understanding what some of this stuff means, I mean, who would have thunk that that little picture right there, like, really represents that? And that's one thing with schematics, is all those things represent components that are like real objects. And this definitely failed. And this one I had just sitting there, again, I'll post on probably right here, I'll put how much it costs, but that's some cheap insurance. I know I pay way more for insurance for other things than this. So that is a deal to have. So I'm gonna get this all back together. So we'll do it in reverse order. So now that this is all back, we're gonna go ahead and put back on the little guard here that flopped off. All right, so that guy flopped off of there. So I'll put him right back on, maybe. All right, I'm glad this. All right, so that's back. Now we're gonna take this little humdinger and we'll shove him back in there. Okay, so now I'm just gonna leave all this here for right now, and let's go turn back on the breaker. Okay, here's our circuit breaker panel, air conditioner. Turn that puppy back on. Okay. All right, and now we'll go ahead and turn back on the cooling. Right there, I feel some warm air shooting out of that, which is a really good sign. And I hear the compressor running. There's a little bit of a different tone when the compressor's running versus when it doesn't. Hear how you can kind of hear the fan running? But then you also hear that second noise. It's that real low kind of drum. That is the part that's moving the Freon, the compressor. Okay. And then that's the other thing. There's two copper lines. Okay. One of the copper lines is really cold. This one's cold. Okay, and then this one's hot. That little one's hot and the big one's cold. That's telling me that Freon, okay, so all that hot line, that's all the hot from my house coming out this way. And then the cold, okay, is once all that heat has been discharged through this fan, like up here. It's really weird if you haven't thought about how an air conditioner works. But essentially, an air conditioner doesn't add cold, it takes away heat. And this is spoken as, again, not for the fourth time, not an HVAC guy, but dude, I just fixed my system, didn't I? I mean, what's that worth? So, again, I think we're in good shape here. My wife can be happy. She, I mean, it took me longer to stop and make this video than if I just would have done the job. But this is a working AC. And I got a wife and 3 kids in there that are now cooling off, right? Who doesn't want that? All right, so this is Jason from the Dental Equipment Repair channel, just trying to pass along good information. If you haven't had a chance to share our content on social media, I'd appreciate it if you did. Share it in your network. Who doesn't need to know a little bit about how to solve an air conditioner problem, or if you're a dentist or a dental staff member, or maybe you're a biomed, maybe you're somebody who is interested in dental repair. This is a booming industry. It's an interesting industry. A lot of people are in need in dental industry of qualified and competent service technicians. And that's my motivation here in this, on this channel, is really to empower and spread knowledge. I'm definitely just out here trying to, you know, give information. It'd be a lot easier, I think, if I just didn't do this. It is, you know, there's a little bit of a cost to it, but things like this make me happy. I love technology. I love understanding how things work, and I love teaching. This is Jason from the Dental Equipment Repair Channel. Thank you for tuning in, and have a nice Saturday afternoon.